Hello. Um, well, one of the most important questions for me that I do often to people that is, looking for the path to keep learning, to learn more skills, technical or artistical skills, is this question: is why you are an animator, why we do animate. I believe that really understanding um, where is the creative source inside of us that make us to be an animator, really understanding that and trying to honor that and working around that is the way to start to to keep going, to keep exploring new ways, to taking the right decisions in our career. So that's why this is one of the videos that I like to do first, because I often ask this question a lot, and I often realize that many people don't really take a moment to say, okay, why am I doing this after X 5, 6, 10 years or 3, or why am I really studying this? So let's go do this. So as a start, I'd like to ask a few questions that help to understand what's the personal experience that each of us we have by being an artist. The question of being an artist, what is to be an artist, what is art? That's always a fun conversation to have with many people, because when you try to get a concrete answer, it's impossible. It's like, because each of us, we have a different experience and a different need to express by being an artist, right? So that's why something that the question, or the trying to find the creativity and the source of creativity and how does it work, is a personal experience that each of us has to have by your own or on my own, without expecting that it has to be the same in the rest of the people that do this work in animation, or that do another kind of creative or artistic job. So first question would be, am I connected with my inner artists as animator? Are you connected to that pulling forward to create, and how that pulling forward to create is translated into the animation? Second question is, what makes me to be a creative person? How does it feel? When does it happen? This is something that maybe goes beyond animation, and help us to understand where is the source of creativity. How does our creativity work? Because not necessarily can be applied in the same way in animation than in, for example, photography, right? That's why I asked the third question: am I creating in another field? How does it compare to animation? Not necessarily what it pulls me to do drawing, because many of us, we draw, is the same thing that pull us to be animator. Next question would be, what do I want to express or experience when I do animate? Like, for example, do I want to have fun? I want to make love others. What is the outcome? What am I needing to experience? So the conclusion would be, what is the personal value that gives you to animate? Because it all goes to the same question. It all goes to understanding the artistry, the craft of animation, as a way to express yourself, as something, as an inner energy that is asking you to put something out there or put something out here, right? That's basically creativity. To understand it as something that is personal, that is not transferable, that is something that only has meaning to you, is important. And how does that work is the way to continue to keep animating, to be a better animator, to create a good career, and to keep going in your path of this animating artistry. So the reason I ask all these questions is because sometimes the artistry or the craft is easily forgotten in the industry. The corporate system, because we work for a company, and usually that's hierarchy based. So we have a director, we have a supervisor, we have a lead. So we have to follow all those guidelines, and that that makes it sometimes very difficult to find the way to do the things our own way, or the way we want to do it, or the way we feel, or the way we need. Of course, and I understand that's why I said at the end is try to find a balance between professional requirements and personal needs. But sometimes we have the fear of keeping our jobs, or to continue in this company, or to achieving some dreams, that we forget about what we really need to do in the right moment, or what we are doing a shot, or what we really want to do in that particular moment, right? So that creates a lot of stress and anxiety, again, because of deadlines, the competition. And that's the question that sometimes I like to ask. Do you struggle? When somebody asks me a shot, the first thing I ask is, are you happy? Because that's the goal. I mean, when you create something, the goal is to be happy, and is to feel enjoyment, is to be satisfied with the work you've done. And surprisingly, many times people don't say yes. Many times there's always something going on. So in order to start exploring where is this creativity source, why you are an animator, the very straightforward question that I like to ask to myself, and I like to ask you, is this one. What is it that you like, or what is it that you enjoy to do during the moment of animating? Like the experience of animating, the process itself. What does it bring to you that makes you feel good, or that makes you to keep animating? The reason I ask all these questions is because sometimes we do actually have some expectations on the outcome. We are not working for what the present or the actual doing of the animation does to us. We have like the feeling that we want to achieve, to get into some studio. We want to work in a particular movie. We want to sometimes impress our colleges, or we do a shot because this is the good shot, a very good shot to have in a reel. And that adds a lot of pressure, and that's actually not a real creative motivation in order to do your work. And I'm talking that as a personal experience that myself I went through when I realized that for many years, for my first few years of my career, I was working directly to be part of Pixar, and I had all those Disney animated movies, the 2D stuff, as my main reference, and I was telling to myself for years that I wanted to do that. And when I realized that I would never work for those movies that are my motivation, it was a little like a breakthrough, right? And the thing is that I never enjoyed to do the Pixar style of animation. I tried to get there, and I tried to do that style, but I was struggling. For years I was struggling. So the moment that I decided okay, I'm just gonna do animating in the way that I wanted to animate, was the moment when I was starting to really enjoy, to really understand what it was to be creative in animation. Because as I said here, the experience of watching a movie is not related at all to the experience of working in the industry. You may enjoy the experience of sitting in your room or in the theater, and that creates a certain kind of feeling, but that doesn't mean that you wanna do that job, or that you wanna do that or you wanna be in that studio that is creating that. That's why I have this this picture here of this stressed cook, right? Just imagine this guy is just thinking in that moment, well, I love eating and I love enjoying eating, and I would thought that means that I want to be a cook, and maybe he's not enjoying to be a cook. I mean, that happens to many of us, and really, there is a lot of people. I had this conversation many times to many people that when they got into the industry and they do this job in the industry, is not what they thought, because they use as a reference the feeling that they have when they're watching a movie in order to take the decision to become part of the industry. So that's why I think this is a very good question to have, because I think many of us, we take the decision of becoming part of the industry or doing this work in animation because of the outcome, because of the expectations, because what we want to achieve, and that's futurizing. That takes us out of the present moment of being creative. And in order to be a really good creative person, to find your own way, to be satisfied, to be happy in your life, all the decisions that you take and the way you animate has to be based in the present moment while you animate, in the present moment of while you are creating, and that will take you, of course, out of those expectations. I realized myself that I didn't like the animation style of Pixar. I didn't like to work in that. I didn't enjoy it. So therefore, I didn't want to be part of Pixar. So when I removed that of my expectations and I started to just focus in enjoying and doing what I really, really wanted, was when I started to really enjoy it, and when I really started to knowing where to go, how to do my job, and I started to be definitely way more happy and satisfied with my work. So that's why I call this freestyle animation training, not just because it sounds cool, also because I consider my work here is to help others, excuse me, to be genuine in their own way to animate, to find their own way. When people ask me how do I do cartoon animation or how they can learn cartoon animation, I don't really know, because in my perception, I don't do cartoony animation. Some others, they tag it like that. But my goal is not to do cartoon animation. My goal is to have fun and to do it the way I want to do it and the way I feel it in that present moment. That can be considered by others like cartoony, but that's not my goal. So when I talk to people or when I supervise or when I whatever, my goal is to help the others to find their own way to be creative in the animation, right? Because again, as I say here, when you connect with your own creativity without any kind of expectations and stress, and you connect with your own genuine way to be creative, is when you really start to be a good animator, and when you're more satisfied, and all this is going to affect your life and your career in a very good way. Because, and that's what I said before, in the industry we very often forget about the artistry of the animation, and artistic people, creative people, their artistry feeling, the way they express is very important in the life. If you are not a happy creative person, your life is not happy. So it's important to first assume that you're a creative person and to know that your creativity is affecting your life very, very much. So once you accept that, once you assume that, and you try to and you make sure that your creativity is making you happy, then you know how to find the balance of your creativity and your career and your professionalism, right? And you don't just give the importance to be a good professional, to deliver, to make happy to your supervisors, and all those decisions is going to help you to make a better life. So I hope this somehow helps. Please don't be afraid to start any kind of conversations, to comment. Please also share if you think that this is a good information to share with others. And any questions that you may have, please do. Thank you very much. Take care.